Hello, you're listening to WKNC 88.1 HD1 Raleigh. This is DJ Ocean Spray, and this is another episode of the Stripdown. Today, I have the Carborough-based band Verity in the station, and I'm going to ask them a few questions.
I was trying to think of a joke, but I just clipped a little bit in my headphones, I think. But I don't know.
Is that Lego succulent?
I also don't know how to speak
That's
correctly.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
Let's just at the picture.
we have lots of decorations in the studio.
Yeah,
So, like, are there like other things with the botanical collection, like, that aren't succulents? Like,
I think so. I know they have flowers.
it's like a whole line of
that's cool.
different kinds of flowers.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good for Christmas this year. I'm taking some notes.
Yeah. Actually, this is the second time this has come up.
What?
My boss was telling me about gifts, and he was like, "Oh, I think I'm just gonna give like some family some Lego like flower arrangements."
Oh, that's cool.
Because I guess he got some, and he was like, "These are awesome, man. Like,
Can
Yeah,
I
right.
can I touch it?
Yeah.
they're so cool."
Yeah, I mean Legos are wild, and like they're really gearing towards the the adult market now.
Yeah, I think we have
Super cool.
some in our other rooms, and we have lots of
Cool.
little ducks everywhere. I don't know where they
cool.
came from, but
I like that. We'll have to check those out.
I should have
in
brought
the
something
rooms.
to like leave as a gift.
We did. Yeah, next time we'll have a little calling card, a little little guy.
I have a battery in my pocket.
There we go.
We diverge.
okay. So can you guys go around and with your name and your role in the band?
Yeah. My name is Casey Proctor, and I'm a vocalist, play bass. Sometimes I play guitar, synth, keyboard. I also engineer our stuff and mix it.
I'm Trevor Reese. I play guitar, sing. Oh, and bass sometimes too. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah,
Fair
I've
amount.
been playing
really.
more bass lately. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
play guitar and bass.
Program beats.
Program beats.
Mike Wallace, guitar, vocals.
Okay, awesome. And so, to kind of get into like Verity as a band. So I know all of you have been involved in previous projects, but does your relationship with music like go back to like childhood? Like when did you learn how to play?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I started playing guitar when I was like 14, just I guess coming into high school or whatever. Because of the normal reasons like Nirvana or whatever, or just like, but being really attracted to the guitar as a vehicle to like write and has like a songwriting thing.
Mhm.
It's so compact and you can take it and then that kind of acoustic you're playing for a little while, then you electric guitar, and I was getting into things like Sonic Youth and there's punk and hardcore and of course, and then it's like you just get crazy about it and kind of started. I only took a few lessons, and then started playing with people kind of immediately.
Yeah.
In high school, and then that kind of has never stopped, I guess.
Was your family musical at all?
My mom played a little piano, and she sang a little bit. She was in different parts of the choir, but we were Catholic, so the choir is not like there was a choir, but it's not like exciting necessarily. But they weren't really particularly musical other than that. I mean, they were really into music. Like we had records and like. They liked like classic rock, and they met at this place. My parents met in Charlotte. It's called the Double Door Inn. It was a blues, rock, jazz kind of club, but it was just like the 70s, 80s. And that was like their haunt. It's just like where everyone hung out, and, like drank a ton and whatever. But that was like the music spot that brought them together. So I guess in that way they are musical. They like loved, big fans of music, and they still are. Like my dad goes to shows and.
Yeah.
And
I love when your dad comes out to shows. It's great.
yeah, right. He's like, he's just like likes live music, whatever. They're very supportive, I would say. But yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
My dad's a musician. I grew up with him playing the mandolin in bluegrass groups. He played guitar in some psych rock bands. He gave me an acoustic guitar when I was about 10. Taught me how to play a Nirvana song.
Yeah.
First thing.
It's
But
like, this
yeah.
comes with the guitar.
Yeah, right.
The tabs here.
Yeah, I like that. And then I also just wanted to play like in a band a lot. So like he also, bought me a drum kit and the bass that we just had stuff that his friends would let him borrow and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of started just dabbling in all of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, both my parents were musicians, guitarists, songwriters. So I was like exposed to that right off the bat. And then my mom found me in my room when I was 2.5 years old, playing along to Cyndi Lauper's "Girls Just Want to Have Fun."
Wow.
Like on my little toy piano. And she's like, "Casey, do you want to take piano lessons?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then, we found out I couldn't really do that till I was 5, so I had to wait. And then started taking Suzuki method piano. But then I met my cousin Christine when I was like 10, and she was cool, and she liked, different kinds of music than that I hadn't been exposed to yet. And she's like, "Let's, start a band." And I started playing bass with her at 11, I think.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how did Verity Den form?
I I moved here from Washington State in 2018, and kind of was just feeling out like who I might want to play music with, and met Trevor through a mutual friend. We both played this improv thing at the Attic Local 506
Mhm.
in Carborough, and I think I was like, "Oh, yeah, that person's cool." Like, and then I found out he did drag sounds with Mike, and I reached out to him and I was like, "Do you guys want a bass player? Like, what's
Right.
going on?"
At the time, we didn't have a bass player per se. It was 2 guitars, drums, but a better idea was to start a different band.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And so, like, your experience as artists playing in different projects that kind of create very different music, like, what is it like? Because from my research, Casey's the only one who's, like, previously made music with the kind of shoegaze sound that Verity Den has. So, kind of, what is it like going from, like, a very, like, garage rock to making something with like the distorted noise of Verity Den?
I think, drag sounds had a lot of eras in our group that, like were pretty garage rock based. But, like I think early on, like a lot of the earlier stuff definitely was like pretty like noisy, like Spaceman 3 influenced,
Yeah.
and pretty minimal and noisy. And we kind of changed our sound several times just based on what we were writing. So it's
And yeah, kind of who was in there. But I think this is something we were talking about earlier or talked about before, is that it feels like the songwriting approach, that kind of core thing, hasn't really changed a ton over the period. It just kind of maybe gets expressed differently. But I guess it is interesting. But I guess also like, you end up doing a lot of things that just as when you're playing a lot as a player or whatever, like you play lots of different kind of bands or have experiences in different ways. Like we've been in multiple other bands, like together, and I think our tastes are pretty wide.
Yeah.
But this is definitely different because, I don't know. I guess like you kind of take those experiences and you're more able to hone them because you just have had more time to play, So it's like the
Yeah.
noise stuff. It's like it feels easier to like incorporate that and have it not be like chaotic or like uncontrolled.
Yeah, I haven't really been in a group project yet that has experimented with a lot of noise. Like I've done it solo, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that any of my past projects have been super shoegazy. I've definitely been in garage rock bands and like more kind of like slower ambient melodic projects.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's pretty different and hopefully new and exciting for all of us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess it's also like you maybe have things you want to try or do, but it's not until you've had some experience where maybe you can actually kind of do those things, or you learn your instrument, or just more about like what's out there and what's possible. And maybe that's also the thing where there's like not such a distance between things like garage rock or shoegaze or kind of things that are we think of as like genres. Like maybe it's actually like there's not a whole lot of distance sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, they
Yeah, I agree with that. Like a lot of the songs are, built on things that Trevor wrote, like just kind of loops that he wrote and brought in. And in that form, I don't know that I would call them shoegaze, but maybe with your guitar playing and some of my production or whatever, like it just turned into like we didn't plan, and we still don't like. We didn't sit down and say like we're gonna start a shoegaze band. We're just making things and
Right.
and not really confined to a genre. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think about it being a sort of shoegazy thing until sending out some demos to a friend. He's like, "Oh, I love it, man. Carbo needs more shoegaze bands." Like, oh shit. Oh, like, I guess we're shoegaze.
yeah. It's not. I don't think it's like a bad thing or
It's
like
not
a
a bad thing,
pejorative. It's
yeah.
just, I guess, right. It's that thing where like you don't know what you sound like until someone else tells you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Necessarily, you're like, which has been an interesting
That's what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of
But I'm
experience.
cool with
like-
it. Yeah. I love all of that. I love all of that music.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So, and it's fun to play too. I like being distorted and noisy, and I love feedback a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Genres are very interesting. I feel like they come up with new, like, oddly specific names for, like, genres all the time. Because, like, now there's something called country gaze, which is, like, shoegaze, but kind of country.
There's a lot of
And
that
it's
happening
like-
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, like, I don't know. I guess they don't really mean much at the end of the day.
Right.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just it's shoegaze with slide guitar.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds great. I mean, slide guitar is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, like you kind of just have to put it somewhere to put it out there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be helpful.
And so, how did you guys come up with the name Verity Dead?
I kind of keep like a little journal of like when I hear a word, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting word. I want to learn about the etymology, or if it just sounds good, like certain words, like the word knife is a cool
Mhm.
word, or like scissors or something. Just is
Agreed.
like pleasing to say. I guess I'll write it down. And so I think I had them down separately, the word verity from veritas, or I think it's a Greek word for truth.
Mm-hmm.
And den, of course, is pretty self-evident what that means. And then I don't know. I don't remember the point at which I combined the two words. I just texted these guys, and we were trying to figure out a name, and they were like, "Yeah, that's it."
Yeah. And so, do you guys make music full time, or do you have other jobs?
Lord.
I have a couple of jobs that are pretty full time, and then I try and spend most of my time not doing that, making music.
Mm-hmm.
So it all works together.
Yeah.
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 But very stay pretty busy.
Right.
I have to, you know.
I have
Yeah.
3 jobs.
Yeah, I have two.
Yeah.
And
I-
if
my
if you
God.
count this as a job, I have 4 jobs.
it,
Oh.
yeah, really, it adds up. Yeah, like I have a full time other job as well, other thing. Yeah, so this isn't a full time thing really. Yeah, that's a. I mean, people are out there doing that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like I've never done that before. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, it's something to think about. But that balance of like having to make money or pursue or learn other things, and then make music is like that's just like the life challenge.
Yeah.
You know.
And so you recently released your album, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. What was your recording experience like?
we have a little home studio, and it was all kind of what's the term? Piecemeal?
Sure.
Is
Yeah.
that a correct
yeah.
term? A lot of the tracks had been recorded at various times by Trevor, and we kind of fed that into Pro Tools, and did a lot of overdubs with guitars and stuff. And then some of the songs we wrote, just kind of playing together, and then recorded,
Mm-hmm.
after we'd kind of worked out ideas. So it was all a little bit of everything. But yeah, it was all done DIY at
Yeah.
home.
Very easy going. Sometimes just tracking guitars after band practice or a part.
Yeah.
Feel good about practicing. We would, turn it down a little bit and mic up some stuff for a couple of hours.
Yeah. Yeah. It just kind of unfolds over time. Not
Mhm.
kind of unrushed. I think the recording wasn't not necessarily going to be an LP at the time.
Yeah,
It was
we
just
didn't
kind of
think it was going to turn into. They were just demos.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess for the sake of listening back and feeling like you like something, like they had to be good demos. Turned
right.
out they were great demos and good enough to release. So yeah.
And so Priest Boss was the first track that you guys released. Is there a reason you chose to release that song first?
I think that was Matt's
I
idea.
think that was Matt's idea. I kind of
Yeah.
felt like I agree whenever Matt decided that was the one.
Matt's
Agreed.
the label person that he is Amish Records.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one they wanted to do.
But I think
That's what I would have done. I think, like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's like it kind of pulls together a lot of the sound in one song, I think.
right, like there's some like instrumental tracks that are obviously not singles. I think
Yeah.
Priest Boss, Prudence, and like Other Friends are pretty much the songs on the LP.
And so like with your I guess like journey writing the songs for this album, there's a lot of different approaches artists take. Like some feel like, they take like dedicated time to sit down and like write songs specifically like for an album, whereas other people kind of maybe like build off of songs or ideas they've kind of already come up with previously. Where does Verity Den kind of lie with that? Like, was it like specifically you guys were writing for this album, or I guess did it just kind of happen?
It was both, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little bit of all of that. Some of it was old ideas. Some of it was newer things that we came up with together. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the first two were like originals of us three writing together, and then like, right, and then maybe like pulling back, like, oh, that sounds cool. I think I have something else like I've been holding on to that would work with this, you know. And then what else can we throw in there? Let's go play some guitars in the living room. Like, okay, you know, yeah,
Right.
definitely
Yeah.
a blend of all of that. Like,
Yeah.
I think it started out with collaborating on some song ideas first.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because starting to record, and through the recording process, as you're layering, I guess we kind of have, there was like kind of maybe that kernel or that nugget of an idea. Then you're layering it, and then I think you're almost, you're writing as you're recording,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or you're hearing it back and be like, oh, that's the part actually, even if it's like just kind of trying some stuff. And it's like, oh, that seems like it works. That's the part now. So we've written it, or like
yeah.
it's, it's a simultaneous writing recording thing almost.
And so, do all of you guys write the songs? Is it like
Mhm.
a situation where like one person might write a specific song, or are all of them like really collaborative?
So sometimes one person might write the bulk of a song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the rest of us will add to it. And then some of them are more equally collaborative, I would say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with like making your specific sound, what do you kind of like use to make those noises? Like, I don't know. I've heard of a lot of different bands having very unique tactics and strategies when kind of making different distorted and interesting noise.
We use, like, there's a Casio beat in there.
There's some Casio beats, broken synthesizers
Like
recorded and like
literally.
fed through a looper pedal that we'll take with us to use live, and various guitar pedals.
Yeah.
Lots of pedals, lots of synthesizers that have applied distortion already, or we're running them through something that has that effect.
And Mike's incredible guitar playing to kind of like
Yeah.
save the day a lot of times with
I mean, just turn all the pedals on and then let them do the work,
And so how does the music you consume on your own compare to the music you guys create with Verity Den? Like, would you say it has like similar sounds, or are there pieces of like other artists that you really admire and try and like add into your music?
There are probably some things that I've influenced by that like you could hear, but I listen to so much music. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I would say I don't listen to shoegaze that and I haven't historically
Yeah.
that much. But I definitely do listen to like a lot of experimental stuff at home, and a lot of the various types of pop music.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff from the 80s. And I think that comes through a little bit.
I think my tastes as of late, maybe kind of since the pandemic, I've got more into kind of ambient, new age, fourth world, whatever the ones are, but like, so I think that kind of has been maybe not a conscious influence, but something that's just like I'm just kind of enjoying, and so I'm interested in space more than I was maybe before, and I was kind of into more in some other stuff.
Right.
So it's something that's this band maybe one thing that is a little different than some other projects is that it does feel like there's a lot of space kind of in the sound or in the songs and in the performance of them and that stuff, which is very cool, and it's fun to play with.
Yeah.
And do you have, I guess,
Yeah, man. Totally.
do you have any favorite musicians of all time, or any particular artists that you like to listen to a lot?
Ooh, I'm gonna make a list.
Yeah. You know,
All timers. Yeah.
timers. Alex Chilton is one that
Yeah.
I still like. I don't listen to Alex Chilton a ton, but that's like he's been around for a while, and like what I like. And
We're big Martin Newell fans.
yeah, I love Martin Newell. I
Oh,
think he's
yeah.
the coolest still. He's such a
Heck
he's
yeah.
like such a sweet internet presence,
Yeah.
right now.
There was the place in Baltimore. Remember, it was the cleaners place in Baltimore.
Oh, it was called the Venus Cleaners.
The Venus Cleaners.
We used to live in a neighborhood in Baltimore around the block from a cleaner, like a dry cleaning storefront called the Venus Cleaners. Like, this were cleaners
Is this
from
where?
Venus?
Yeah, this is where you got the name.
So where is it?
the Venus Cleaners?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Where Martin Newell gets his
Yeah.
gets his pants, gets his slacks, his knickers ironed.
Oh
Yeah.
man, there's so many.
Yeah.
It's hard.
So-
I mean, yeah, it's tough. I mean, we were talking. We played with Ryan Davis and the Roadhouse Band in Chapel Hill. Was it in January, February?
That was late January.
Late January, almost. Yeah, I guess it was like 31st, maybe or something. Or I don't know, whatever it was.
Must have been, yeah.
And we were talking. And some people in his band have just been playing for a while. We played with them and other together in the same bills and traveled and booked shows and just known each other for a long time. So we were just talking about the idea of kind of liferism or lifer stuff. And I feel like as important in some ways, people you would have heard of, maybe, you know what I mean? Or anyone would have heard of. It's like those people who have kind of we've just been doing this since we were teenagers and we're still doing it, as
Yeah.
we're into our,
Yeah.
30s, late 30s. And their influence, I think, has been very important, both sonically, but also the perseverance to just keep doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been very cool to kind of have those relationships for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
With
The homies.
Yeah, the homies.
with your
Folks.
experience within other projects and stuff, is it still kind of, I guess in the beginning, not difficult, but do you still have to kind of really find your rhythm, or do you feel like you can kind of go into projects with a bit more I guess confidence and clarity than you used to be able to?
I guess the the playing of the instrument, skill level and stuff, yeah, it's easier to know what you have to bring to a project, I guess. The longer you do these things. But as far as making art, I don't know that I feel like I'm always a little bit confused, and I think that's a good thing, to not really know exactly what you're going to do or exactly I don't ever pre-plan what something is going to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
It has to present itself kind of. So, but yeah, you have your toolbox.
Yeah.
And then whatever's coming through, you just try to use those tools to the best of your ability, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break to listen to Priest Boss from Verity Dan's self-titled album. Enjoy. And so, do you guys enjoy the kind of like writing and producing side of making music, or kind of more like the live performance aspect of it?
There's completely different worlds.
Yeah, yeah. I like playing live and I like recording, but at this point, I enjoy my time in the studio a lot more than I used to, and I love playing live. But I like capturing something and documenting what we're working on a little more than the work of performing live, I guess.
I mean, they're so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them both. I love playing.
Yeah,
live. I love
they're
it.
great.
When you're able to, I mean, a lot of bands, they practice, they get their songs ready, they go into a studio. A lot of the time they're paying all this money to do it, and then they have to slam out these songs in a couple days sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We may never do that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's
But
yeah.
the ability to like take your time
Mm-hmm.
and kind of do it as you're writing is like, it's really fun.
Yeah.
If-
Yeah, it's pretty thrilling
if
to like
y-
hear back.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it feels like such a luxury because what you just described is exactly how it has been 95% of the time, because you don't have access, because, for a long time, you don't have access to the tools of recording or the time. And
Mhm.
mainly it's money too, of course, to buy, but even on your own, having access to all this stuff and then having the expertise, which, Casey really had like to have that all come
Yeah.
together to give you that space to let things unfold or to try things. It's just so valuable. It makes such a difference. I
Yeah.
think that's like things that like, and of course you can make a great record in an hour, you
Mhm.
know, it's not determinative, but like, I think a lot of the things that feel really off the cuff or feel like, wow, you really captured something, it's because they did it for the 2 months or had
Yeah.
2 weeks, you know what I mean? Or like the classic Beatles thing, they did it 90 times.
Right.
They did, take the Birds, Sweetheart of the Rodeo, take 101, clap.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you get it. It's perspiration as much as it's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, it's a different thing. The live is so different because you get one shot,
Mm-hmm.
which is thrilling in its own way.
Especially if you're improvising
Yeah.
live a lot. Like that's
Right.
rad. I love doing that.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah, if you're an improv band or if you have large segments of within a song that you're just playing whatever. I mean, that's a totally a new, that's a different thing too, but yeah, if I have any advice for any band or any musician out there, learn how to record yourself and learn how to produce yourself. 100%.
With like I guess the way you kind of take little clips and kind of slowly build your songs, how like what's kind of like the time frame for how long it took for you guys to piece together the album?
Let's see. We started in like October. About 5-6 months, maybe.
Yeah, and some things took longer than others, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Priest Boss came together in like an afternoon. Kind
True.
of. And then other songs.
Other songs took a little longer. Tess, the acoustic instrumental track on the record was recorded in whatever time it took to play. That we just sat in a room with one microphone and played acoustic guitars, and then I think I, just put some reverb on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, the other songs.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. When did we put the cassette out?
oh shoot,
'Cause
We
they probably wrapped up everything like a month or so before doing that.
Yeah, it was, when was the Lulu show? It was like March or May last
I
year?
think it was May,
May, yeah.
Right. That sounds right.
right? May, yeah. So the cassette was finished by
It
then,
was
right?
finished.
Yeah,
We were, yeah.
It was our first
selling
show.
It.
Yeah.
at shows.
Yeah.
And we had started. I think we had started in October or November, like
I know.
recording
Yeah.
it.
What
Sorry.
month is it, what month is it
Okay.
now?
What's happening?
Where are we now?
When are we?
Yeah.
No, I think that's so awesome. I feel like some of the best music I hear, especially from local bands, is stuff they, record in their house. There's a band, and I think they were recording in Durham. I think they were like banging on trash cans for part of it.
Cool.
And I just think it's like so awesome. Like I really don't think like going into a studio and having like I guess the crispest equipment really makes the best sound. I really enjoy kind of how you can you've made it yourself in your house. I think that's like really awesome.
Yeah.
I agree. I love that music. I always have been a fan of 4-track recording and using tape. I think, it's cool. It's just a cool sound, and it's fun to do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you've gotten super good at tape, and you've been working with it. So I think that's also part of that's like this underlying element. That's like, even though things are happening like in Pro Tools, there is like this very tape
Everything
analog
I
element.
record is onto either a cassette or a reel-to-reel before dumping it into the computer to send off. I guess there's that, and then, but yeah,
it's very human.
very human and kind of lo-fi. Like the record is mixed and like overdubbed on the computer, but there's analog elements and that we keep.
Yeah. They contain a sort of magic. I think you can definitely lose that if your production is super super hi-fi. Everything's like on 10 compressors.
Oh,
like,
gosh. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I really love pop music too. So it just depends on what you want. But I think what we're doing is, it has more of those DIY elements for sure.
Yeah.
Is there a like venue that you specifically like to play at? Like a favorite?
I work at Cat's Cradle.
Oh,
I'm an
okay.
audio engineer there. I love the back room.
I love the back room too.
Yeah. Back
It's a
room is
great room.
It's really cool. It sounds good in there and it's fun to play.
Yeah, I like playing there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a band, we haven't played a ton of places outside of even the Triangle.
It's true, yeah.
And we haven't played everywhere in the Triangle, but I mean,
like, I guess historically, I don't know, like.
Right, what were great
I mean,
venues?
Nightlight was great.
Nightlight.
We played there.
Oh,
Like, this
yeah.
band never really played there except for recording some stuff.
That's right.
But playing there in other groups was always the best, I think. Just it kind of had a good feel to it, and they didn't overdo it with the engineering and like.
Really special room.
Yeah.
I like playing the Cave.
The Cave is great. I love playing the Cave.
Also in Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
60 years old or whatever it now is.
Yeah, that's always fun. It's just like being in a room with like a cozy room with your friends and
Yeah.
like being able to be a little louder than you are at band practice,
Right, yeah. And it's also, pretty bare bones, like
So a microphone.
engineering. Yeah, kind of just a mic and then just play. Since we're in Raleigh, we haven't played here, but I do like Neptune's.
Yeah.
As a venue, it would be fun to play there with this band sometime. But in Raleigh, that's probably my pick, I guess.
Yeah.
I always
It's
like
just
playing at
small.
the Pinhook.
Pinhook is good too. Yeah, Pinhook's
yeah.
great actually. Yeah.
We'll be there in early April.
Yeah, that would be
Speaking
cool.
of,
Yeah.
we got some plugs.
We're not allowed to plug things.
Oh, no plugging.
Oh wait,
You
what is
can.
it?
You have to be like.
No call to action.
Yeah,
right?
no call
Oh,
to
sorry.
action.
Okay.
You can be like, we are playing at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you what to do. Here's the information. Do with it what you will, or don't. Yeah, right. I remember. I did college radio in Greensboro. I went to Guilford College.
Okay. Yeah.
So QFS. Those were some wonderful years.
That's right. I'm sorry. I thought you were cursing whenever.
No, I
went
may
there.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still we were doing that back then. Yeah, and I still am doing that. Yeah. Anyway, I love KNC. I love all the radio stations.
Yeah,
Really important.
they definitely are. Do you guys go to a lot of concerts yourselves? Like to see other artists?
I do. Like, I don't know. I've been going to shows for a long time. Like, there was probably a period where I maybe felt like I couldn't stay out as late, or to wake up early for work. There are definitely some good shows I feel like I've missed. I live pretty close to the Cradle right now, so if there's something cool happening at the K506 or the Cradle, like I'll definitely will make an effort to go to those shows. But yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm getting older. I don't travel too. I mean, working 40 plus hours a week, it's sometimes like
Yeah.
fried.
Yeah.
But yeah, I try to go to plenty of shows.
Mike
Same.
seemed to play a lot of shows.
Oh yeah, sometimes you end up playing. I mean, I have played a couple other things, but it's similar. Like I don't go to as many as maybe I did at a different time. I used
Yeah.
to work also like at a venue. I think when you work at a venue, you end up just being at shows.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not going to them. You're just there because it's your job,
Yeah.
I mean, I was just a bartender or whatever, but so I used to see a ton, and of course I think collectively we've been to many shows.
Yeah.
So many shows.
Yes.
But yeah, not as much. Yeah, not as much. I don't know. Maybe it's a little older. It's just you have more stuff going on. The pandemic was a weird period for shows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? I think it's kind of coming. It's mostly back, but it's also just like different. There's like a little of that. I was having this conversation some other night, but there's some of that like connective tissue between, bands who were then and then band. It's just stuff. It's just some venues aren't here. Some of them have changed staffing or ownership, and some things haven't, right? But like there's a little bit of that's like, and maybe that does influence my attendance a little bit.
Yeah.
But we try to get out there.
Working at the Cat's Cradle, do you just get to like show up to any of them that you want to?
Yes.
Oh, that's so awesome.
In a word, yes.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
I've
Yeah.
definitely asked for some favors a couple of times, maybe. Like, are
Yeah.
you going to this? Can I go?
Yeah.
Can I go? Do you want to go?
Yeah. All the employees there get to go to as many shows as they want.
Yeah. Where can the listeners find you online?
Oof.
Bandcamp.
Google.
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 Google?
Google. Right?
Google.
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 Do you Google?
Bandcamp is a great place to check
Bandcamp
out
is
stuff that
great.
we're
Yep.
selling or playing, where we're playing, and what music we have, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just Verity Den on everything.
Verity Den. There's not really any other Verity Dens.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
No, I haven't found any. Right, it's like there's not actually another band named that, which is
Yeah.
rarely the case, even as weird as your band name can be. But yeah, there's Instagram. The record's on all the streaming sites
Yeah,
now.
it's
right?
on all
you
the-
can
all
find
the
you can
obvious
find it on
things.
Deezer, Pandora. I don't know what Deezer is.
What is that?
It's one of them. It's like I always see it. It's like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, Pandora. Like what? Who has Deezer? I don't know what that is. Is that for music? I don't. Like,
YouTube?
right? YouTube. Yeah, you can find it on YouTube. Oh, we do some live stuff on YouTube.
We have some live stuff on YouTube.
That Clark
also, the
took.
entire record's on. Yeah. Oh yeah, the one that Clark took at the Asheville show.
Yeah,
that's a fun little video. I've watched it.
It's actually cool. Yeah.
And
So if you want to,
yeah,
mean-
somebody's put all of our songs on YouTube. I guess that's cool.
Yeah.
like the record, like as
Yeah, I think
individual.
But it wasn't Amish. I
Oh,
was just
really?
I don't know. It's like, that's fine.
Listen,
There is-
Spotify.
It's all over the place.
Well, talking about that because that was a Discogs thing too.
Yeah.
Where to find us on the internet? There's more things we don't know about because there's just things that pop up like the thing you were just talking about. Like we don't know where it came from. Like who did
Yeah.
this? We didn't do it. So I don't know. I guess we're finding out where we can find ourselves. on the
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
One
feeling.
of the Discog overlords decided we were worthy of existing in that
Finally, we
universe.
made it.
Yeah, I think I was like, I guess I'll just go ahead and I'll just put the LP up on like Discogs, just because that's what you would do if you have a record. And one morning I was like, yeah, it's not on there. I'll do it later on this evening. And then I went to like put in all this information, and something popped up like a similar release, and I clicked on it, and someone had already listed the record like 2 hours before me.
I mean, this was. I mean, it's still the record
It was
hasn't
like
even
the
been
day
out.
after.
Yeah,
maybe.
right.
I know.
Right, exactly. The record had,
It hasn't even been. Oh, it's been like a little over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
that's wild.
Yeah.
It feels like forever. I mean, it really like it's really, feels much longer than 2 weeks.
I can't believe we don't have another one out yet.
I know. We're really
Working on
slacking.
it. We're working on it. It's getting there.
There's much to come.
I meant to ask you guys this earlier, but where did the picture for the album art come from?
That's me. That it was taken of me when I was on my 15th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is there any reason like you chose that specific photo for the album art?
It's hard to explain. It was mostly kind of this. It has this essence, I think, of youth, obviously, but also just like growing up without a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of trying to figure out how to navigate the world when you're in a pretty isolated place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I felt like some of the themes from the LP kind of fit into this kind of like, it's like the beginning of something, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you're starting to figure out what you're gonna do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still a little confusing. Yeah, I mean, you got your refrigerator, you got a Solo cup with some whatever, I don't know what was in
Is it
there.
mellow yellow?
I don't
can't tell.
know. Probably. Yeah. And like
Sunny
you
D.
got your like what for that Puma Adidas
Dirty
shoes in the
sneaker.
background. Like it's
Yeah.
just
Kind of feels appropriate.
that was a terrible birthday, you know?
Oh,
It's
gosh.
Like I don't even think it was like at a cabin and like at a lake, and I don't even think there were beds in there. It was like me and some friends, and
Oh.
I don't know.
That's interesting because I didn't know all that at least that last part of the context
Yeah.
of that photo. But it is like, I mean, I was gonna say it feels like a memory. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a photograph,
Right.
which is a type of that informs your memory. But like, it's one of those things. I know there's a quality to it where you look at it and it's like, I have a memory kind of like that, like birthday
Yeah.
cake,
Everyone.
kid,
Everyone.
you know,
Hopefully
whatever
does,
that
yeah.
is. Like, there's hopefully right, not everybody. Like, it's just there's something in there where it's like, yeah, the Solo cup, the red Solo cup with like the weird drink in it.
Yeah.
That's,
And like
just one of those little things.
and
it's
the
like, yeah.
crappy like Walmart cake, you know,
Yeah.
that probably spelled your name wrong,
Right.
and you're just like you're blowing out these candles, and you're like, I hope everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's really captures something in there, and I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really I agree. Well, obviously, I guess my opinion doesn't matter. I'm not in Verity
Yes, it
Dance,
does.
but-
Definitely matters.
Matters way more.
But I feel like it truly does. I feel like capture kind of the sounds that you produce in Verity Den. It's very, I don't know, because even if it's like I don't know, the nostalgia and kind of I guess like fuzz of like you know like a Polaroid, like it's kind of I guess created again in the sound you guys make. And I love asking people about the album art. I feel like it's very interesting because some people I guess don't really care about it, and then other people, I don't know, it's an interesting little story I guess for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's a choice
Mm-hmm.
that's made either way, right? I mean, it's an opportunity to say something or be part of the art. So I guess it's cool to
Right.
care about it. But also, I get people just like whatever,
Yeah.
make it red. I don't know. I can't imagine that, but I'm sure it comes up.
And when is your next show?
I guess our next show here is at the Pinhook
Yeah.
in April, the
Right. 6th.
sixth.
April 6th.
yeah, that's our next show in this area.
We play Asheville the night before, and that's kind of the start of a little mini tour that we're supporting Rosalie on. Yeah.
Kind of up the
Well-
East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, up and down.
Yep.
Right back down.
Shout out again to Verity Den for coming into the station today. You guys are really awesome. Like I mentioned before, listeners, if you enjoyed their music, you can find them on Instagram, Bandcamp, Spotify. It's just Verity Den, VERIT DEN. I will be sending the listeners off today with one more song from Verity Den, Other Friends. So please enjoy, and thank you for listening to this episode of The Strip Down with DJ Ocean Spray.